Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over the home page, the body structure, the back end of it, which is Thrive Architect, and a little bit of code behind. Not much to see on this one, so I'm going to be quick. Basically, this is the page we're talking about, this middle portion of it. And if we look in the back end, we find the pages and then the home, and then we open it with the Thrive Architect right here, and the rest is just drag and drop and clickety clack. So just about learning this Thrive Architect plugin, the builder, and that's about it. Not much coding going on, but there is a little bit of templating that I need to show is this. So to accommodate Thrive Architect inside my theme framework, I had to create a few templates for it. So if we go edit, right here we can see among all of those there are 3 different templates, the Thrive page. So let's go find it at the back end. So pretty much we start from here, themes, and this is the theme name, and go all the way down, and this is the template that we're pulling in, which is just a basic template which follows the basic header, footer, and the HTML architecture of a basic page of my template, and the rest is just WordPress loop. So anytime I call in create a page and I have intention to create it with Thrive Architect, I just pull in this theme template, so everything the base structure is always maintained. And in some cases, when I have to create a landing page, I have to give it just a blank one. And sometimes if I want to create one with a specific header that I need to show everywhere, I use this one. So that's pretty much about the body of the home page, which is this guy right here. Now let's go look at some real code behind this header. All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at the main navigation and the items of the main navigation that's coming from the WordPress backend, and how the template code is being handled. So let's go check it out. This is the main navigation, and we're going to start from the left, from the logo. But even before that, let's go check out the architecture of the navigation. All right, we are at the header code. Here's the theme name, and header.php. This is the header. And if we keep going down, the first thing we encounter here is the logo section here, navbar logo. And look at this piece of code here. This is actually representing an ACF field. So to find that out, let's go back. It's being generated by this plugin, Advanced Custom Field Pro, and it's coming from this extra options field, which is the theme setting. If we go there, we find it right here, and a whole bunch of other entries. So this one, now to backtrack that, we have to go under custom fields, which is the ACF field creation window. And right here we find theme settings, and when we go in there, we find site logo right here. So this is the variable that got created. and this is right here. We're calling it as the field, and since it's an option page, you have to make sure we provide this option right here to get to the actual URL that is inserted right here. Theme settings logo. Now let's look at this search form. Normally it is created using just by calling a function, but in this case we couldn't do that because of this specific design. We had to invoke this icon, font awesome icon, and control this look and feel of this text right here using some specialized CSS, as we can see here. So let's get it larger a little bit. Okay, so this is the usual search field code from WordPress. You can actually find it in the WordPress documentation, but this is the special part that we actually did. We actually went ahead and found out the hex code for the search icon, and we implemented it here with the placeholder field, and this is the text. But in order for this to work, we have to make sure two other things are working. For example, in a global CSS, which is right here under assets, source, CSS, SCSS, and then global, first of all we had to call in this font awesome 5.9, and then we came here and put this code inside this placeholder, and then we went to the CSS, which is right here under headers, SCSS headers, and the specific SCSS file, and this is targeting this header-search ID. So most important two things to notice here is this. Right here at this block, we have to separately let WordPress know that this specific search input should have font family as font awesome, and this using color here, this will not control the look and feel, the color, the font. This will not control it. So to control that actual look and feel, we had to call this ampersand placeholder one, and here we actually define the color of that specific text right here. So that explains the search field, and now let's go look at this other guys. Okay, so we are back to the header.php code to look into the rest of the menu structure. This is where the menu is being called at, and the location ID is menu 1, and this is primary menu. So let's go check out the WordPress backend. Right here, see, this is the menu 1 and primary. Here's the location, and we are here at appearance and menus. Out of a whole bunch of them, this is the menu 1, and these are all the details. Now, something to notice here, even though our dashboard, profile, etc. are still all visible here, but something to notice here that this menu actually changes according to who's logged in or logged out, right? So let's see if we log out, what happens. Boom, all those stuff disappears, and then when we log back in, comes back to the dashboard, and all the rest of them show up, right? So here, a small plugin, user menus. This plugin is being used to control what shows up or not. It has been very handy plugin. For example, is the dashboard for the athletes. We can just go in and from the drop down choose logged in users and pick out the athlete role here. So that way, whenever athlete does log in, this dashboard page only shows up for the athlete role. Whereas we have another dashboard here that is dedicated to the coach's role. If a coach log in, it takes it to the coach's dashboard. That being said, now let's look at these three guys. This is the user avatar, right? And this logout drop down. This is happening right here. Basically, I called in an empty navigation, but that same plugin provides you with a few nice little options here. I chose avatar. Because of that, this guy showed up, and then I just added this logout extra menu item, and that's being dropped down right here. Now about the other ones, I didn't get too much help from the plugins. Pretty much these are just basic menu items, basically the custom menu items created using this. And right here I'm actually calling these font awesome classes, which I got from here. Since I am actually calling the font awesome CSS in my header, as I've shown before, so now using these classes automatically gives me these icons, and with this extra class I'm actually maintaining all the rest of the attributes, the look and feel, removing the text, so on and so forth. Now, one very important thing to notice here, that this drop down here was created pure JavaScript, was created by pure JavaScript, and that's what we're going to cover next. All right, so the big problem I faced with these two icons is that once I remove the navigation elements using the CSS, then I had no way to make this stuff work anymore after clicking using the navigation, kind of like this one, right? This one is using regular WordPress navigation. Like for example, when we go here, like this. But these two guys, visitor count and email, they have no other thing going on that can be clicked and redirected to something else. Look, this has no URL, right? So I had to be tricky with them. Basically, the functionality is this one would have this view count, which is being collected from here, but this is being collected using PHP. I had to make JavaScript collect this one without using PHP. And this one, when you click on mail, it should be redirecting to this email page, which was also being done with JavaScript, right? So this is what we're gonna look at right now. So I had to be a little bit tricky with this one, since after logging on this user directly always will come here. So I targeted this template, and to find out this template I can collect from here. This is explained when I explain the footer, how to make this happen. So this is the template name is template dashboard athlete. So let's go find that. It's right here, template dashboard athlete, and this is the basically whole dashboard code right here, but we'll get into detail later. Right now we want to look at the very bottom, this tiny little JavaScript right here. This is not normally how I do things. But I had only, for that tiny functionality, I had two choices. Go with Ajax and DB, blah, 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 versus this little shortcut. So pretty much what I'm doing is I am collecting the number, the view count from this ID, which is right here. As soon as this page comes on, all the data is in this view count, and then if I go inspect, and right here we have this view count holder, this ID. So I grabbed onto this ID to collect this number right here, and once I do, I'm actually creating a local storage entry and dumping that number under this variable right here, the view count, right? And then I'm going to this JavaScript item, which is right here under asset source JavaScript modules and ASM header menu icons. So right here I'm actually collecting these two classes that I put in here. Is nav visitor and nav email. So after collecting these, I'm setting some events. One is the click event for email icon, which is right here, this email icon, and that will have a simple redirection toward the email page, email inbox page. So that was pretty simple. But the other one was the nav visitor, which is view button. Here I had to actually enter two of them, mouse enter and mouse leave, so that it actually happens when it's hovered on. So these function actually comes in here. When you hover over, it actually goes out there, and whatever value was stored in here under this view count in the local storage is now being picked up right here and put it into this view count number, and I am appending to that button this tiny little tiny little HTML snippet with that variable attached. Because of that, this drop down is happening right there. So that's about it for the header and the main navigation. Hopefully the next one we will discuss in detail this drop down.